We missed the out of you out here, bro. How you been?
I've been good, man. Mentally, spiritually. I've been on top of my shit.
A jail call between Lil Durk and DJ Academics just leaked, and fans think Durk might have admitted to murder. And there's a reason they believe it. Right after that call, prosecutors dropped a new bombshell that could flip his entire case. Durk made some shocking revelations on that line, and they might change everything. Let's get into it. The jail call. On April 28, 2025, in the midst of his ongoing legal battle, Lil Durk made a remarkable and unexpected public appearance, not in person, but through a phone call to DJ Academics during a live stream. This rare moment of direct communication from behind bars instantly captured the attention of fans and media alike, offering a glimpse into Durk's mindset while incarcerated.
Yeah, ain't nothing changed, bro. I just been focused on life, my family and stuff like that. I'm trying to learn how to speak Arabic again.
During the call, Durk expressed that he was maintaining his mental and spiritual well-being despite his circumstances. He told Academics, "I've been good, man. Mentally, spiritually, I've been on top of I'll be back out there, you hear me?" This positive outlook, delivered with apparent confidence, stood in stark contrast to the gravity of the charges he faces. The call revealed that Durk has been using his time in custody constructively, learning Arabic, and even helping other inmates convert to Islam, showing a focus on spiritual growth during his confinement. When Academics inquired about whether he was taking formal classes, Durk explained,
No, it's a couple guys here that know how to speak Arabic fluently. So I'm just learning the different words and, tighten up my Arabic. Just getting my knowledge together.
This exchange revealed much about Durk's approach to his incarceration. Rather than surrendering to despair, he appears to be using this time for personal development and spiritual exploration. This focus on growth and learning suggests a resilience that has resonated strongly with his fan base. Academics responded with visible support during the conversation, mentioning that hip-hop misses Durk and wishing him well. This interaction shows the strong backing Durk continues to receive from influential figures in the music industry, even as he faces serious legal jeopardy. The reaction to this call was immediate and widespread. On social media platforms, hashtags like #FreeDurk and #FreeTheVoice trended, with fans expressing solidarity and hope for his release. This outpouring of support demonstrated Durk's enduring connection with his audience despite his absence from the public eye. The call itself was brief but impactful, offering fans direct confirmation that Durk remains focused and optimistic despite his challenging circumstances. For many supporters, hearing his voice directly was a meaningful moment after months of speculation and concern about his well-being. What's particularly notable about this call is the calm, measured tone Durk maintained throughout. Despite facing charges that could result in a life sentence, he spoke without bitterness or desperation, instead projecting an image of someone using adversity as an opportunity for growth. This wasn't the first time DJ Academics has been involved in discussions about Durk's case. When news of Durk's arrest initially broke in October 2024, Academics reportedly collapsed during a live stream upon seeing the mugshot, indicating the personal impact of the case on those close to Durk. The public reaction to Lil Durk's case extends far beyond this single phone call. Since his arrest in October 2024, there has been intense debate about the charges, the evidence, and particularly the use of his lyrics in the prosecution's case. On Lil Durk's Instagram video, celebrities including Meek Mill and Rollo expressed support, with fan messages reflecting a desire for his release and questioning the justice system's treatment of rappers. Comments like, "They already did Melly dirty, I hope they're not gonna do the same with you." "Free the voice" and "Free the voice till it's backwards" demonstrate the passionate defense many fans have mounted. This vocal support stands against the backdrop of a criminal justice system that many in the hip-hop community view with suspicion, particularly regarding how it treats black artists. The parallels to other high-profile cases involving rappers, such as Young Thug's RICO trial, have not gone unnoticed, fueling speculation about whether these prosecutions reflect a broader pattern of targeting artists with gang affiliations. For many in the hip-hop community, these cases represent a troubling pattern. As Kevin Liles and other industry executives have argued in their Protect Black Art campaigns, there appears to be a disproportionate focus on criminalizing rap music compared to other genres that also contain violent imagery. The phone call to Academics also seemed strategically timed, occurring just weeks before Durk's scheduled bond hearing in May 2025. By presenting himself as calm, reflective, and focused on positive growth, Durk may have been indirectly making a case for his release before trial, demonstrating that he's not the danger to society that prosecutors have portrayed. This strategy aligns with efforts by his legal team, who have proposed a $3 million bail package, including $1 million in cash, $900,000 in real estate, and 24/7 security. Though previous bail requests have been rejected, the upcoming May hearing represents another opportunity for Durk to secure pretrial release. What makes this case particularly complex is the alleged motive. Prosecutors describe the shooting as retaliation for the 2020 killing of King Von, Durk's close friend and OTF artist. This alleged conflict between Durk's OTF, associated with the Black Disciples, and Quando Rondo's camp, tied to the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, adds layers of complexity to an already multifaceted case. The irony isn't lost on observers that Durk has publicly advocated for peace, particularly in Chicago's drill music scene. In 2024, he supported a mural honoring fallen artists, including King Von, as part of efforts to reduce gang violence. At his October 20th, 2024 birthday concert at the United Center just days before his arrest, he shared stages with various artists, reinforcing his stated commitment to ending gang violence, a message that stands in stark contrast to the allegations he now faces. This dichotomy between Durk's public peace advocacy and the violent retaliation he's accused of orchestrating creates cognitive dissonance for many fans. Some see it as evidence of his innocence, arguing that someone genuinely promoting peace wouldn't simultaneously be planning violence. Others view it more cynically, questioning whether the peace messaging was merely a public persona that masked different private actions. Another aspect of public reaction worth noting is the continued commercial success of Durk's music despite his incarceration. His album, Deep Thoughts, released on March 28, 2025, has remained on the Billboard charts, demonstrating that legal troubles haven't diminished his artistic relevance or fan support. This commercial resilience reflects a long tradition in hip-hop where legal challenges sometimes enhance an artist's credibility or perceived authenticity. While not unique to rap music, other genres have seen similar dynamics. This phenomenon raises complex questions about the relationship between art, commerce, and criminal allegations. Looking ahead, several key dates will likely shape the next chapter of this unfolding story. The bond hearing scheduled for May 2025 could potentially allow Durk to be released before his trial, though previous attempts at securing bail have been unsuccessful. The trial itself, set for October 14, 2025, promises to be one of the most closely watched legal proceedings in recent hip-hop history. With 230 GB of digital evidence and thousands of pages of reports, the case's complexity suggests a lengthy and detailed examination of the allegations. But perhaps the biggest evidence that's become an issue is his lyrics. Lyrics as evidence. In the complex world of hip-hop, where artistic expression meets real-life storytelling, few legal battles have raised as many questions about creative freedom as the current case against Chicago rap star Lil Durk. At the center of this high-profile federal prosecution is something unexpected: a song. Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, a collaboration between Lil Durk and Babyface Ray released in December 2022, has become the most controversial piece of evidence in a case that could potentially send one of rap's most prominent voices to prison for life. Federal prosecutors have seized on specific lyrics from this track, arguing they directly reference the planning and aftermath of an August 2022 shooting near the Beverly Center in Los Angeles that claimed the life of Saviaya Robinson, cousin of rapper Quando Rondo.
Those charges include aggravated assault and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Today, his attorneys told us that both they and the rapper learned of these charges about a day or so ago.
The prosecutor's interpretation focuses on lyrics they claim describe planning the attack and referencing news coverage of the aftermath. According to court documents, they believe these lyrics serve as direct evidence linking Durk to the crime, suggesting he had prior knowledge of and involvement in the shooting that claimed Robinson's life. On November 7, 2024, the federal indictment added 2 felony counts, claiming Lil Durk used these lyrics to commercialize the crime by rapping about revenge. This approach isn't without precedent. Similar strategies were employed in Young Thug's RICO trial, where 17 sets of lyrics were admitted as evidence. But Lil Durk's legal team has mounted a vigorous defense against this interpretation. Led by attorneys Drew Findling, Marissa Goldberg, Jonathan Brayman, and Christy O'Connor, they've presented a compelling counter-argument. The lyrics were recorded in January 2022, 7 months before the August shooting, making it chronologically impossible for them to reference an event that hadn't yet occurred. In support of this timeline, the defense has submitted affidavits from 2 music producers attesting that the song was recorded in early 2022 and was not edited after the shooting. This temporal disconnect forms the cornerstone of their argument that the lyrics have been fundamentally misinterpreted by prosecutors. On April 21, 2025, Durk's legal team took their defense a step further, filing a motion to dismiss the case entirely, accusing prosecutors of prosecutorial misconduct and using false evidence to mislead the grand jury. They've described the lyrics as the linchpin of the prosecution's case, arguing that the timeline definitively proves the lyrics could not have been about the shooting. The defense has also challenged the prosecution's claim that the lyrics reference a specific news clip, stating that any such connections were fabricated by fan pages online with no affiliation to Lil Durk. In December 2024, Durk's legal team issued a statement to Newsweek criticizing the use of lyrics as a glaring indication that there is no real evidence against him, calling the claims false and lacking in the most basic due diligence. Beyond the released track, federal authorities also seized an unreleased song titled "Scoom His" from a co-conspirator's phone via a federal search warrant. This previously unreleased track, which later became available on SoundCloud despite never being officially released by Durk, contains lyrics such as "ridding through Beverly Hills with choppers" and describes Durk as a bounty hunter. Prosecutors argue these lyrics further corroborate his involvement in the shooting. This seizure of unreleased material demonstrates how thoroughly investigators have been combing through potential evidence linking Durk to the alleged plot. The debate over using rap lyrics as evidence has drawn significant criticism from legal experts, civil liberties groups, and music industry figures. Eric Nielsen, a professor at the University of Richmond and co-author of Rap on Trial, Race, Lyrics, and Guilt in America, has been particularly vocal on this issue. Nielsen, who also testified in Young Thug's trial, stated, "The way that prosecutors are using these lyrics is really to strip them of any artistic value, to deny them the status of art at all, and treat them as literal confessions." Ed Yonka, spokesperson for the ACLU of Illinois, has similarly criticized this practice, emphasizing that a criminal proceeding, whether it's about detaining someone or about their ultimate conviction, is really about something that someone has done or a specific action they take, not their artistic expression. This controversy has prompted legislative action in states like California and Louisiana, which have passed laws limiting the use of lyrics as evidence in state courts. However, as Lil Durk's case is in federal court, these state protections don't apply. Critics argue that this practice disproportionately targets Black artists, treating their work with more suspicion than other genres and potentially chilling creative expression. As industry leaders have pointed out in their campaigns to protect Black art, rock, country, and other genres frequently contain violent imagery without the same level of scrutiny or legal consequences. The use of lyrics as evidence raises profound questions about free speech, artistic license, and racial bias in the criminal justice system. Prosecutors have historically used rap lyrics against defendants in ways that other artistic expressions aren't used, a practice that many legal scholars consider problematic at best and discriminatory at worst. The case against Lil Durk isn't the first time this issue has emerged. In the recent high-profile RICO case against Young Thug and YSL, prosecutors similarly used lyrics as evidence of criminal activity. Despite this approach, the last two defendants in that case were found not guilty of murder earlier in 2025, highlighting the limitations of using creative expression as evidence of actual crimes. For Lil Durk specifically, the timing question is crucial. If his legal team can definitively prove the lyrics were recorded before the shooting occurred, it would significantly undermine the prosecution's case. This timeline dispute highlights how critical, precise documentation can be in cases where artistic expression becomes central to criminal allegations. While Lil Durk awaits trial, the music industry continues to grapple with the broader implications. Organizations like the Recording Academy have expressed concern about the chilling effect these prosecutions could have on artistic expression. After all, if artists fear their lyrics might one day be used against them in court, it could fundamentally change how hip-hop functions as an art form. Some observers have noted the stark contrast between how hip-hop lyrics are treated compared to other art forms. Films, novels, and other musical genres regularly depict violence without the creators being suspected of criminal intent. This disparity raises questions about whether cultural bias plays a role in how rap music is interpreted by the legal system. Despite his incarceration, Lil Durk's music continues to resonate with fans. On March 28, 2025, he released his album Deep Thoughts, which has remained on the Billboard Top 100. This continued artistic output stands in stark contrast to his legal situation and raises questions about how artists navigate their careers while facing serious charges. He's also maintained his presence through features, including appearances on Kanye West and Ty Dolla $, iGen's Vulture's 2 Inches with the track Dead. This ongoing productivity demonstrates Durk's commitment to his art, even as he faces potentially life-altering legal challenges. The controversy surrounding Durk's case has also reignited long-standing debates about the commercialization of street life in in hip-hop. Critics argue that the industry profits from and sometimes glorifies violence, while defenders point out that artists are often simply reflecting the realities they've experienced or observed. For many fans, Lil Durk's music represents an authentic voice, describing the challenges of growing up in Chicago's dangerous Englewood neighborhood. His journey from the streets to Grammy-winning success embodies the aspirational narrative that has always been central to hip-hop culture. But to fully understand what led to this point, we need to examine the events that triggered this high-profile arrest in the first place. What really happened? On October 24, 2024, the rap world was stunned as Grammy-winning artist Lil Durk was arrested near Miami International Airport in Broward County, Florida, while allegedly attempting to leave the country. The Chicago rapper, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, was taken into custody on federal charges related to a murder-for-hire plot, allegations that could potentially result in a life sentence if convicted.
We start with breaking news tonight at 9 o'clock, and rapper Lil Durk just surrendering at the Fulton County Jail.
Yeah, he is charged with attempted murder for a shooting outside of the Midtown Varsity. CBS 46's Kirsten Bragg joins us live outside of the jail.
Rising from Chicago's dangerous Englewood neighborhood, Durk's journey to stardom began in the early 2010s with mixtapes like his Sign to the Street series. From local talent to global star, he eventually earned a Grammy for Best Melodic Rap Performance for All My Life, featuring J. Cole. But beneath his musical achievements, there's always been another narrative, one tied to Chicago's streets and the complex web of gang affiliations. This duality has defined Durk's career. On one hand, he's a critically acclaimed artist who's collaborated with industry giants like Drake and J. Cole. On the other, he's frequently been linked to Chicago's street conflicts, particularly through his Only the Family OTF collective, which prosecutors have characterized as having dual functions as both a legitimate music label and a street organization with gang ties. According to federal prosecutors, the charges against Lil Durk stem from an incident on August 19, 2022, near the Beverly Center shopping mall in Los Angeles. What allegedly began as a targeted attack on rival rapper Quando Rondo resulted in the death of Quando's cousin, 24-year-old Saviah Robinson, also known as Lil Pab. The Department of Justice didn't mince words in their announcement, charging Lil Durk with conspiracy, use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and using, carrying, and discharging firearms, including a machine gun, in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. But this wasn't a solo operation, according to the allegations. 5 others affiliated with Durk's Only the Family OTF label were also charged in connection with the attack. Kevin London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston. The motive, according to prosecutors, was retribution for the November 6, 2020, killing of King Von, a close associate of Lil Durk, who was signed to his OTF label. King Von, whose real name was Davon Bennett, was killed in a confrontation with Timothy Lul Tim Leaks, an associate of Quando Rondo. Though Leaks' charges were dropped in 2023, the incident apparently sparked a deadly chain reaction that would culminate in the 2022 shooting. This alleged cycle of retaliation highlights the dangerous intersection of music industry rivalries and street conflicts that has plagued hip-hop for decades. In interviews before his arrest, Durk himself had spoken about these challenges, at times seeming to distance himself from direct involvement while acknowledging the broader context. In a 2023 interview, when asked about his issues with NBA YoungBoy and Quando Rondo, Durk responded enigmatically,
"Scared of who? For what?
NBA YoungBoy.
What'd he do?"
This ambiguous stance, neither confirming nor denying specific conflicts, has characterized much of Durk's public commentary on these rivalries. Federal prosecutors have painted a picture of OTF as what they call a hybrid organization, functioning both as a legitimate music label and, allegedly, as a criminal enterprise with gang connections. This characterization has drawn parallels to other high-profile cases against rappers, including Young Thug's RICO trial. An FBI affidavit alleges Lil Durk may have been involved in a second murder-for-hire plot targeting Stefan Mack, a Gangster Disciples leader, in 2022. While no charges have been filed for this alleged plot, the affidavit claims there were communications discussing payment for Mack's murder, possibly linked to the 2021 killing of Durk's brother, Dante Banks. These interconnected allegations paint a picture of ongoing cycles of violence that span multiple years and cities, suggesting a deep-rooted conflict that extends far beyond typical music industry rivalries. When Lil Durk appeared in the Central District of California Court on November 14, 2024, 2024, he pleaded not guilty to all charges. His legal team, led by prominent attorney Drew Finling, has been fighting vigorously for his release or dismissal of charges. The defense proposed a $3 million bail package, including $1 million in cash, $900,000 in real estate, and 24/7 security, but this was rejected by the court. U.S. Magistrate Judge Patricia Donahue ordered Durk to remain jailed, citing his significant resources and potential to flee. The case has proven so complex that the trial, initially scheduled for January 7, 2025, was postponed to October 14, 2025. And like I've pointed out, the case involves approximately 230 gigabytes of digital evidence, including audio recordings, surveillance footage, and around 20,000 pages of reports. This extraordinary volume of evidence suggests a lengthy and complex investigation spanning multiple years and jurisdictions. The federal nature of the charges, specifically the use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, indicates that prosecutors believe the plot crossed state lines, potentially involving communications, travel, or financial transactions that gave the federal government jurisdiction. Currently, as of April 30th, 2025, Lil Durk remains in custody at MDC Los Angeles, with a bond hearing scheduled for May 2025 that could potentially allow for his release before trial. But the criminal charges are just one dimension of Durk's legal troubles. On February 24th, 2025, Andrea Laquila Robinson, the mother of Saviaya Robinson, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Lil Durk, his business manager, Only the Family Label, and another company in Cook County Court, Chicago. Attorney Warren Postman, representing Robinson's family, emphasized the devastating impact of Robinson's death on his family and community, seeking accountability for those allegedly responsible for orchestrating the attack. Adding to the complexity, on October 9, 2024, just before his arrest, the estate and family of FBG Duck, Carlton Weekly, filed a lawsuit against Durk and OTF, claiming they profited from Duck's August 2020 murder through negligence and misconduct. These civil actions create additional legal jeopardy for Durk, potentially impacting his finances and reputation, regardless of the outcome of the criminal case. They also broaden the scope of alleged involvement in street violence, suggesting patterns that extend beyond the specific incident charged in the federal case. The arrest has also reignited discussions about Durk's early life and gang associations. According to multiple sources, Durk joined the Black Disciples gang in 2009 at age 17, after dropping out of high school. These early affiliations have shaped both his music and his personal history, creating a complex backdrop for the current allegations. In December 2023, Durk posted on social media, "I'm not a gang member, Imam Muslim," suggesting an attempt to distance himself from his past affiliations or redefine his identity. This statement sparked debate, with some viewing it as a strategic move amid increasing RICO cases against rappers, while others interpreted it as reflecting a genuine personal transformation. As we've seen throughout this story, the complex intersection of music, violence, and legal scrutiny continues to raise difficult questions about creative expression, criminal liability, and racial bias in the justice system. The three dimensions we've explored, the controversial use of lyrics as evidence, Durk's prison call showing his current state of mind, and the serious charges he faces, all paint a picture of a case that could have far-reaching implications for hip-hop culture. For Lil Durk personally, a conviction could mean a life sentence, effectively ending his career at its peak. For the broader hip-hop community, the case's resolution could influence how lyrics are treated in future prosecutions, potentially affecting artists' creative expression. Whether viewed as a cautionary tale or an example of systemic overreach, Lil Durk's case forces us to confront difficult questions about where we draw the line between art and evidence, creative license, and criminal liability in a genre that has always prided itself on authenticity. Thanks for joining us today. Check out our other videos for more thrilling content.